5 days until the start of free agency. Welcome aboard, Big Sills. Please hit the like button. Our supers all go to the top, and it all goes to the show. We appreciate you guys. I want to start this show off by talking about ownership and leadership. So, the owner of the Cleveland Browns, and I'll show you why the owner of the Cleveland Browns and that organization has sucked for 26 years since they've gone back with an expansion team to Cleveland. They refuse to have a conversation with Myles Garrett, thinking that that's just going to evaporate and go away. And you're not going to sit there and have a conversation with your star player and one of the greatest players in the history of the National Football League, who's still got prime years left. Ask yourself this: would the owner of the Philadelphia Eagles allow Jalen Carter to demand a trade and the owner not sit down with him and try to convince him to stay? There lies the difference in good teams and shitty teams. There lies the difference. It starts at the top. You know, you can have all kinds of criticism for Jeffrey Lurie, the owner of the Eagles, but the one thing that he is player friendly. He pays his guys. He invests in his guys. He also invests his time with his guys. That's why that football team is the best roster and the best organization in football today on March 7th. That could change. The NFL is a revolving wheel. That's why the Browns, that's right, are the Browns. They don't do things right. So many of the boxes have to be checked to build a great football team. Be proactive. Listen. Hire good people. Draft. All of that shit has to go in the right direction, and you got to be rowing in the right direction. Not in Cleveland. The owner of the Cleveland Browns' position is, I'm not fucking addressing anything, and I'm not sitting down and talking with Myles Garrett. Dude, it's not going to go away. This guy doesn't want to beg the player to stay. I would. If I've got a talented guy in my building and I'm trying to build a championship team, my end game is to be a champion, not to have an ego. Same shit goes on in Dallas. You want to, this is exactly why there's haves and have-nots. So I don't want to sit and talk to Myles Garrett because why? I'm afraid he wants to move on and not play here, and Haslam doesn't want to hear how shitty he's run his team, because that's an indictment on him. You know what you did? You ensured that Myles Garrett will not be playing in Cleveland in the 2024 season. There's not a chance in hell that guy will ever suit up again in Cleveland unless you do the same thing you did for Deshaun Watson. And you know what that is? Extort it. Bribe him. Here's this amount of money. That's the only way he's staying. That's not how you build championships. I mean, I'm not going to meet with my star player because I'm fucking afraid of what he's going to say and how shitty our organization is. You know, get this. You know what Myles Garrett's leverage is? I hate you. I want out. Hit the like button. Appreciate you, Blaze. Thank you so much, my friend. I mean, you just watch that story unfolding. I don't think a 3-year, $118 million deal is going to keep him in Cleveland. You know why? He could get that contract anywhere in the NFL. That's why. By the way, we appreciate everybody rolling in with us here. Thank you again. Please hit the like button. A lot of you today. Zander will join us at 4:30, and we will have Jason Cole talking about Howie Roseman and the first week where the Eagles started doing business. Monday's the bullshit day where everyone pretends they're not tampering, but they are, whatever they call it. You don't think they've been tampering now? Throwing disinformation out now? Oh, it starts Monday. Sure it does. Hey, sure it does. By the way, I see people in there going like this. Garrett and Hassan Reddick, are you fucking crazy? I mean, Hassan Reddick is a bunion on a toe compared to Myles Garrett. The only Hall of Fame that Hassan Reddick will go to is how not to do a contract negotiation Hall of Fame. That's the difference. Hassan Reddick to Myles Garrett is like a bunion. Right, Sue? You know what bunions are. Keep squeezing them feet inside of them extra small shoes. Come on, Sue. Hit the like button. We appreciate everybody, man. Thank you, right? I mean, I'm watching this Brown story, man. Hey, then you look at the Dallas Cowboys, and you hear Dak Prescott, or Micah Parsons even more so, talking shit on Jalen Hurts. By the way, we're going to have a conversation on that here in a second. But you got Micah Parsons talking about how much better Dak is than Hurts. Hey, this just in. Hey, missing Parsons, fucking win something. Anything. You were a loser in college. You were a loser in the NFL. What have you won? The only ring that you have is the ring that you wear around your you-know-what. That's it. Don't tell me that guy don't wear one. You know that guy's friends with Prince Charles, man, because anybody that does a podcast like that, my opinion, he can't be all man. This guy's taking shots at Jalen. Win something, dog. I'm going to start calling him Diddy Parsons. I mean, hey, my quarterback's better than Jalen. Hey, man, your quarterback may have a better arm than Hurts, but I'll tell you what, it's brought you nothing. It's brought you nothing. Dude, seriously, the Dallas Cowboys, you know, do you know when I really need a laugh? It's when Philly 500 or Zander, they send me some Mark Holmes. We're going to get him on Wednesday because I'm going to kick his ass on Wednesday. You know how I laugh? You know, a couple of these moves, we're right there with the Eagles. I'm like, a couple of these moves? Like what couple of these moves? Re-signing missing Parsons and then what? You don't have a GM. You have a TV star that likes to hang out with chicks in a toilet. Go on and yo. Nothing. This guy doesn't check the waiver wire. He checks the TV ratings. When you're more concerned on TV ratings than the waiver wire or free agency guys that are out there potentially to make your team better, you're not vested in your team. Look, I have been critical of the Eagles, but the one thing you can't be critical of is the results. They validated it. I told you this, guys, on February fucking 10th, the day after the Super Bowl. When you punch your ticket like that, there is a new narrative in Philly. I hate bullshit talk. I'm a substance dude, not a fantasy island guy. If Cincinnati doesn't move off of Garrett, you mean Cleveland? Would you go after Hendrickson? He's criminy with this Hendrickson guy. I'm not ripping up a championship game plan, Philly Don. For that, I'd rather draft a guy and take a shot at one position instead of future and present. When you make a move for Trey Hendrickson, you're trading what you have in your plan, your future, and you're throwing more eggs in one basket. Here, you're doing this. If I draft a guy and he blows, I can recover from that because I got core guys on my team. I'm not ripping up the game plan or the roadmap to get to another Super Bowl just because I see a shiny fish in the pond where I have to throw my lure in and I have to rip up what I want to do. That's not what I'm going to do. That's not what I'm going to do. Make me want to take a different off-ramp. Okay? If I'm the Eagles don't have to take off-ramps. They're in a luxury position right now. Do you understand that? You're in a luxury position. Harold Landry was released by the Titans, might be a viable option without giving up the house. Hey, what did I tell you? One of my predictions came true already. I told you Jonathan Allen would be cut. The Commanders are going to cut him. Hendrickson is like the 2022 Reddick. Good, not great. Hey, look, I think the kid's good. I saw Fred Johnson kick his ass. Look, I'm critical of the Philadelphia Eagles. You know this. But I'm critical for the small moves they may make that could injure their chances of winning another Super Bowl. The Dallas Cowboys, the difference between the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles is as wide as the Grand Canyon. That's the difference. Approach, ideology, running your cap, talent evaluating. You know me, man. I'm going to give it to you real here. The fucking Rams and the Commanders are further ahead. Why? They got a great coach, and they got an owner that Stan Kroenke spends money. Why do you think the Rams are so good an organization? Why? Because they spend money. They're good in talent evaluating. And they got a great coach. That's why the Rams are good. Do you realize right now, the only organization in the NFC that I would have any kind of, concerns about is how fast the Rams have recouped when they had to push all their chips in, and now they were a third down away from beating Philly in the playoffs. The Rams are the only team. Detroit, you know why and where Detroit is? Detroit doesn't know how to play big games yet. The Rams do. The Rams have won a Super Bowl in the last 4 years. They know what they're doing. The Cowboys haven't won a Super Bowl in 30 years. You want to know something? 95% of the roster in Dallas wasn't born the last time the Cowboys won a Super Bowl. How the fuck would they know what being a champion's about? Wouldn't know what's going on. Listen here, man. Just watch the shitty teams operating right now. Dallas. You know, do you guys agree with me that since Jerry Jones won those Super Bowls 30 years ago, he's gotten worse as a football person? He hasn't gotten better. Where? His son had to talk him into drafting Zach Martin instead of Johnny Manziel. How did he get better? You know, Howie Roseman, the general manager of the Eagles, just must be laughing at the Dallas Cowboys right now. I want to get that. Let me get those helmets up there, baby. There you go. They just must be laughing. What's the best move? Give me this here. Blaze, appreciate it. We need to try and sign Allen now. I'd offer him. You know what I would do if I were Philly? Here's a one-year deal, John. Here's a one-year deal. Now you got Bosa too and Allen. You know what I would do? Honestly, if I'm Howie, I would offer these guys 1 year at $7 million and see who bites. Well, that's too low for me. Good luck in Tennessee. Good luck in Seattle. Good luck in Carolina. Or how would you like to be this? Say you're Joey Bosa or you're Jonathan Allen and you're going to hit the free agent market. How would you like to do this? All of a sudden, you sign a one-year deal, and it's Eagle-friendly. You come in, and you have a Pro Bowl season, an all-pro season, playing next to Jalen Carter. Think the chances are good of that? Ask Zach Bond. You may turn around and sign a 3-year contract worth $60 million. And I'm only 29. And I'm at a premium position because I signed that 1-year deal. You believe in yourself that much? Because if you're looking for the bag of money and you've just been waived, released, how many teams are going to give you the money that you're rightfully thinking that you deserve? Why wouldn't you? I mean, this kind of goes down to my boys thinking. Wins enough? You got to go prove it. Do you know what the Philadelphia Eagles have created now? It's the land of opportunity. If you're sitting back and you're like, you know, everyone said I was hurt. Look at Bosa. So Bosa's in this position now. You know, everyone says I can't stay healthy. You know, the team's kind of underachieved around me. Is it Joey Bosa, the Saquon Barkley of defense this year? He comes to Philly and plays 17 games, puts up 10+ sacks, which he would. Then he goes in the market and signs a $26 million deal. Maybe. It just makes – and you win. If you're Jonathan Allen, you've had an underachieving career in Washington. I get it. The organization sucked with Daniel Snyder. They were moving pieces up and down, in and out. Absolutely true. All of that true. All of it true. You come to Philadelphia, though, Jonathan Allen goes, Jesus. What the defensive tackles that have played in Philly the last 2 or 3 years Devon Hargrave signed a $20 million annual deal. And now Milton Williams is going to sign north of a $20 million deal, 3 years, $80 million. And if you're Jonathan Allen, aren't you saying this? I'm better than Milton Williams. I'm better than Milton Williams. I think he's a better. How many people in here think that Jonathan Allen's a better ball player than Milton Williams? I do. You know what the money he's going to make in the open market? Ain't going to be near 3 years, $80 million. It's a fucking stupid take. He's going to have 10, 15 teams after his ass. You don't have a pass rusher, edge rusher. I'll tell you this. Joey Bosa is a better player than Josh Sweat. Had a better career. Stills cooking today. Hey, my man. Think we might take a look at Allen. If for the sole reason of mind games. Hey, bring him in. Work him out. I like that, Masked Avenger. You're right. When you see people released, do you know the first thing I would do if I was Adam Peters in Washington or Brad Holmes in Detroit? I'd be like this. Fuck, there's a guy from Philly to sit there and add to their team at a lower price because people now want to go to Philly. Where would you rather play right now? Dallas Cowboys? Ask Mark Holmes this question. Where would you rather play today? The Dallas Cowboys or Philly? If I play in Dallas, you better pay me more. If I play in Philly, I'll give you that 1-year prove-it deal. It's just watching this week, Cleveland, how they're fumbling this whole thing with Myles Garrett. Howie Roseman hasn't fumbled one thing yet. Hey, dude, he may land on a bad player in the draft, or he may land on a bad player in free agency. But you know what he doesn't do? He doesn't deviate off that plan. And when he does, it's calculated. Hey, fuck, man, my running back and my linebacker were my two best players last year. I'm going to re-sign them guys. Get this. Isn't that just common sense? Look at that whole thing there, man. Hey, who are the best players on both sides of the ball last year? Zach Bond and Saquon Barkley. I mean, do you really have to be a rocket scientist to figure that out? Hey, fuck it. I'm going to give those guys an extension, lower some money, get some cap space. I can sign ball with this. Get this. Saquon Barkley's success made sure that Zach Bond stayed in Philly and kept the success going on the defensive side of the ball. How hard is that to think like that? It must be. You know what? Sometimes the easiest things to do in life are the hardest things to get accomplished. And you see it without and throughout the league. It's crazy. Do me a favor, guys. Please hit the like button. Give me a total on our likes. Appreciate you guys coming here on this Friday. I know there's very few places out there for you to roll into. We appreciate it. Don't worry. We won't be talking any stupid fucking Flyers talk every 10 seconds. It's not going to happen. You know when we talk about the Flyers and the Sixers and the Phillies? When they fucking win. The Eagles have put in every single pro team in Philadelphia on notice. You know why? Because they're winning. If I was Dave Dombrowski, Daniel Briere, I mean, if I'm Daryl Morey, where are you? You guys are running shit shows. Not Dave so much. I love Dave. I've known Dave a long time. Come on, man. It's one thing to talk like a champion. It's another thing to act like a champion. Shit, get this. The Eagles are a month out from their Super Bowl just about, right? And you're still fucking talking about them. Howie Roseman makes a move to cut someone, and it's bigger Because you know why? You don't want to sit around and talk about that shitty deal Daryl Morey cut with Paul George. Paul George, Darius Slay. I don't know. I have no interest in that first one. Allen or Hardgrave, Bozo or Landry. Swummy Sills, Arthur. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate the super. Allen's better than Hardgrave. And Bosa's better than Landry. Dude, Bosa's only problem is health. I'm not asking him to come in to be the future of your team. I'm asking him to help me get back to the Super Bowl next February. That's all I want. If I can get, hey, let me ask you a question here. Appreciate you guys mentioning the Jerome jerseys. It's a great gift from Zander. Let me say this to you, man. Would this be worth it to you? If Joey Bosa signs a one-year deal and you gave him $7 million and he gave you 10 sacks, which he's very capable of doing, and he gets you back to the Super Bowl, and I do believe it's in Santa Clara, would that be worth it? Forrest says that Vaughn is that guy. We'll find out. All I know is this. I've only seen him do it 1 year. Get this. I hate the Brosa brothers. What are you, running a popularity contest? I'm talking about fucking signing good players. I don't give a shit what their attitude is. What is it? This guy's like a marriage counselor. Honestly, man, this is about getting good football players, not about going, well, you know, this guy really has kind of a pissy attitude. What do you think you are, guy? Kindergarten? Well, he's really kind of not. Makes no sense. We're going to get to some topics here. Do me a favor. Bosa, Allen now are now part of a conversation. Holy cow. If you're let me say this to you. If I'm Jonathan Allen and Joey Bosa, you know what I'm doing? I'm going like this. Am I picking the phone up? Here, let me go down the line here. If I'm any one of those guys, let me go here. Am I signing in Buffalo? Maybe. If I'm Bosa or Allen. The Dolphins, tax reasons, possibly. Listen to the reasons why I would. The Jets, no thank you. The Patriots, only for the bag of money. Baltimore, maybe. Steelers, yes, but then I know I'm not getting a lot of money. The Bengals, never. The Browns, never. The Texans, tax reasons. Colts, no thank you. Jags, tax reason only. Get this, not a football reason. Not a football reason. Kansas City, I don't know. You know why? I'm not going to get paid there. Chargers, no thank you. Cheap. Let me tell you something also about the Cincinnati Bengals and Mike Brown with that whole Trey Hendrickson thing too. We're talking about shitty owners. So Mike Brown is probably so cheap. I guarantee you he has parking meters in the players' parking lot. That's how fucking cheap that guy is. That's when you know you're not looking to build a winner. This guy probably has parking meters. And charges the players to park cars in the parking lot. That's how cheap he is. He probably returns the Coke cans that the players use in the lounge. Any D-line free agents would want to play with Carter. Dude, absolutely. Jonathan Allen and Jalen Carter playing D-tackle for you. I don't know, but that sounds unbelievable. Do I want to play in Dallas? Well, if I want to be a TV star and have my own reality show, and I want to have a show like Sileo, and I want to have my podcast scene all the time, and I want to be a dumbass like Micah Parsons, yeah, it's a great place. Micah Parsons is the perfect Dallas Cowboy. You know why? He doesn't give a fuck about winning. He doesn't give a fuck about his teammates. And he only cares about his own brand. That's what makes Micah Parsons the absolute perfect Dallas Cowboy. He is the perfect Cowboy. Don't give a fuck about my teammates. I want to be a superstar TV star. I wear the star on my helmet. I don't give a shit about winning. Fuck everyone on my team. They suck. I'm great. Seals, what the fuck are the Browns waiting for Garrett? They're afraid to address it. Imagine this. You're the owner of the Cleveland Browns. You're worth billions of dollars, and you're afraid to address a player because you're afraid of what he's going to say about your organization, that it's not a winning environment, and he doesn't want to hear it. Instead of doing what's best for his team, okay, trade his ass. Let's get the best that we possibly can and the most first-rounders we can and get this guy fucking out of here. I wouldn't want Myles Garrett on my team. If you don't, hey, you think Jalen Carter wants to be an Eagle for the rest of his life? I do. Shit, Darius Slay's probably going to take less money to come back. You don't take less money and come back in Cleveland. Well, what? Hey, all you got to do is just look at cheap ass Cleveland, and then look at cheap ass Mike Brown in Cincy. Funny, it's Ohio, the home of football in Canton, Ohio, and you got two shitty organizations run by two buffoons in the state of Ohio. Two buffoons in the home of the NFL. Okay. But that's a good look. In the PA, you got the Steelers and the Eagles. How you doing? Get 8 championships. You want to hear something fucking nuts? You got 8 Super Bowls in the state of PA. You know how many you have in Ohio? Goose egg. Do you think he's getting traded? And who to? I don't know what Cleveland's going to do. Think about what I just said about the state of Ohio and them shitty run teams. They have no Super Bowl wins. Cleveland's never fucking been to one. PA's got 8. Hit the like button. And I guess it's standard par. I do. I guess it is. Incredible. Incredible what week he had. Now, let me reel you in here. Because Big Sills has got to be Big Sills, you know. I mean, you know, a scorpion's a scorpion. And I can never not be a scorpion. By the way, my new Twitter or X feed is Philadelphia Sports Talks Public Enemy number 1. That's what this show is. This is Sport Talk in Philly's Public Enemy number 1. I like other people talk about us. You know why? You guys are doing your job. Congratulations. Congratulations to all of you. You got a fledgling radio station. The only thing they can do is go after you. Little old us. Fucking a merit badge. Hey, by the way, one thing I will say about that fucking guy, Mike Messinelli, and I said Messinelli. He's on fucking his radio station calling me a racist. He didn't have a problem being on this station or on my show 22 times. If he thought I was such a scumbag, why'd he come on? Then he says it's a mistake. Yeah, you know why it's a mistake? Because you didn't do your job here, and because your show's dying, and your career's dying, and no one cares about you. You talk about the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Unbelievable. Do your job. Have some fucking decent content. Philadelphia's filled with it. I could do 10 fucking hours on that city. And by the way, I'm a racist scumbag. At least I didn't beat the shit out of my producer. Now, I do have to say this. Is everything really all cool? In Eagle Land, let me pull up my X account here. Okay? Let me pull up my X account. I got to read this here from AJ Owens. I got to read this here. Here it is. And you tell me if everything's all good in Eagle Land. God, I love this team. I really do. It is a content. It's not a machine. It is a content factory for Big Sills. This is As the Eagle Turns. Fucking great. So here's what I posted on my X account. AJ Brown. By the way, this ain't Big Sills talking. This is AJ Owens. He's back. Here we go. It's like high school all over again. This even isn't my fight. Y'all speculate instead of talking what the person just said. Then go on your pages and create articles until the national media catches it. Y'all blaming the media, and it's really y'all. Who's he talking about? We move on. Like y'all pick sides. It's not your favorite player. Weird behavior. AJ Owens. Eagles community is so messy, bro. This is fucking great. Holy shit. It's Big Sills and Big Sills heaven now. This is unbelievably awesome. Hang on here. This caption is lame. Oh, yeah, the Jeff McClain quotes. Got to remember that dickhead, too. Slade went on a podcast and was sneak dissing Devontae Smith. Woo! How you doing? This is awesome, Bradley. Thank you, Bradley. Thank you. Keep the show going, bro. Yeah, but Sills, you keep punching on the gas pedal. It's motivating the Eagles to do the best. Well, right now, you just motivate me to make sure that I keep doing my best too, Bradley. Your commitment to us is awesome, and I thank you. Hey, Bradley, don't think I may talk shit on you or you on me in the next couple, rounds here, so I just want you to know. Thank you. I agree with that take. It's Garrett or nobody. Go in the freaking draft. So wait a minute here. Let's do this again. A.J. Owens. There's a problem in Eagleville with the Eagle community. Is that its locker room? You're a thief, Sills. You're stealing all the ratings. I can't be stealing from them. They don't have any. Who the fuck watches Mike Missinelli? Let me guess. Some 80-year-old guy who remembers some guy in Sea Caucus calling him. Hey, Mike, what do you think about fucking, Fletcher Cox? He's been off the team for a couple of years. Oh, I didn't know that. Most guys will listen to that guy. Ratings. I hope you say IP. Dude, 97.5. I thought it was country. Wait, I gotta take a sip here. We got high drama. You don't have a very good locker room? AJ says, why are you acting like this? Taking shots at Devontae, Slay, and what's his name, crying and moaning. I missed Smith this. Makes 3 players he called out. What was the Smith this from Slay? Dude, Darius Slay's butthurt he got cut. Let me tell you my real spin and my real take on all of this bullshit here. It's irrelevant. You're the fucking champions. You want your little kids to cry and bitch and moan in the offseason here. You want guys to have their egos out there. I really don't care. You're a Super Bowl fucking defending champions. And if you want to act like children, I'm all right with it. As long as you show up September 8th and you go win another Super Bowl, I don't give a shit what you do. It's really completely irrelevant to me. Who gets this? Who gets that? It's all diva dudes talking anyway. I don't really give a shit about it. Go win a game. You want to act like babies? You want to be people who want to be in the spotlight? You want to kick up noise for your own personal podcast in the offseason? I really don't give a shit. As long as you were the champs, who cares? Now, this is an issue if you don't win. But Darius Slay, this is on him. I completely 100% blame him because he's butthurt that they cut him. You know why? Can I make this comment and you tell me if I'm wrong? Slay thinks he's Brandon Graham. That he was going to get a 1-year victory tour, that he was going to have the 1 year and the Eagles were going to reward him with that 1 year. And you know what they were going to do for him? They were going to give him the autonomy to call it a career or not. Am I wrong? End of the day, dude, you're rent-a-dude. Tell me I'm wrong. This guy thinks he's Brandon Graham, Jason Kelsey. He thought he was going to get that same treatment. He was going to get that same treatment Brandon Graham got in that same latitude. And you know what they said? You're not an Eagle. You're a rent-a-Eagle. Brandon Graham's a home-cooking kid. Community loves him. Darius Slay is a rent-a-cop. Locked down the corner a couple years. Thank you for your service. I'll see you later. Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Jason Kelsey. Those guys are in a different room. 10-plus years in Philly. Lane Johnson. Soon Jordan Mailata. That guy's a fucking rent-a-eagle. You know how you go get a U-Haul? It's Darius U-Haul. Hey, thanks, dude. See you on the flip side. Hey, by the way, you're a fabulous player. I ain't putting your ass now in the Ring of Honor. I'll tell you that. Appreciate it, guy. Get the fuck out of town. Service is not wanted. This guy thinks he's his ego. Hey, dude, he did this shit in 23 too. You know what Slay did in 23? I played good. Those guys suck. Fuck him. Those young players don't need that. Hey, you know what? You know what? He's a front runner. Darius Slay's good when shit's going great. When shit goes bad, he's the worst teammate you can have because he doesn't stay consistent. He's up and down like this. Fuck, Nick's more consistent than he is. These guys should know if you're not home. You do know that. His ego, though, doesn't tell him that. Dude, nobody who was drafted by Howie's not a home-cooked kid. So this is completely on Darius Slay being absolutely butthurt that they cut his ass, and now he's looking around going, I'm the leader. Hey, I agree with C.J. Gardner-Johnson here. I know this. Every year that guy's been a Philadelphia Eagle, they've been in the Super Bowl. I know this, dude. When shit goes sideways, you're pointing your fingers at somebody in the locker room and not pointing it back at you. Then you go on a podcast with the Dallas Cowboy turds, and you're sitting there barking at those guys going, hey, fuck, our guys last year didn't have leadership, and I know there's some young guys in there. They do need a veteran. He's telling them, hire me back. Guy's so self-absorbed with himself. And I get the position because they're like wide receivers. These guys' egos are 10 times larger than mine. Darius Slay would be perfect in Dallas. I don't have to give a shit about my teammates. He's a front runner. Hit the like button. Dude, you know what exposes people? Adversity. Adversity exposes people. That's what exposes folks, is when things aren't going perfect. Who are you? How do you react? I'll tell you one thing. There's no doubt adversity hit the Philadelphia Eagles a year ago. They reacted with a Super Bowl off of last year. You want to know something that if you look at it and you want to say and you want to put a storyline on the last 34 regular season ball games, the Eagles went like this. Well, shit, we sucked at the end of the year in 2023. We're not going to make the same mistakes again, and we're going to rise up and be better, and they were, and they won a Super Bowl. That just shows you 23 was a wasted season because they were 10-1 at one time. 2023 should have been more competitive, but they learned. It's okay. Fuck Slay. Guy gets butthurt because they cut him. Well, you're 35 years old. You make $11 million. You're in and out of the lineup. And I need money to sign Zach Bond is more important than you. I'm not saying not bring him back. But you need to have a come-to-Jesus conversation with that guy. Hey, dude, shut up. I need you to be a leader on and off the field. Not a leader on the field and an asshole off the field. You know why you can talk like this? You're the world champions. Hey, Darius, I don't need you. I want you. And make me keep wanting you. Kind of shit like this. Throwing shots at Devontae. Throwing shots at Gardner John. What the fuck are you doing? What are you, 5 years old? Hey, can I make a point? If that guy signs with another football team, he is going to take the biggest shit on you that you've ever seen a player who's a former player take a shit on you. This guy's going to be almost as bad as T.O. Absolutely. We're going to hit on that next. It's like took a shit on Hurts. I'm going to make a point to you here. And I'm going to get to this now. So he goes on that Weirdos podcast, Missing Parsons in Dallas. And he names his top players at the quarterback position. Burrow, Mahomes, Allen, and Lamar. Those are the ones he names. Now, look, those would be my Mount Rushmore. However, you play in Philly. You want to go back. Your fucking Super Bowl was won by your quarterback and the MVP. And you decide to take a shit on Jalen Hurts? Let me tell you something. If I played in Philly, the number one name that I would name would be Jalen Hurts, even if I didn't believe it. Because he's my teammate. Even if I didn't believe it, I would still put his name in there because he's my teammate. You want to know what a shitty fucking teammate Darius Slay is? That's it right there. This guy just helps your resume potentially to knock on the door to be a fucking Hall of Famer. And you know what you did? You took a shit on him by naming those other four guys who have only but one been to a Super Bowl. The more and more this week went on, the more and more I hate that guy. I'm not even going to have a conversation about Hurts in the top. I told you where he is with me. He's in the top 5 for sure. But if I played on that team, he'd be number 1. Just won a Super Bowl with him. What are you doing? Love this show, bro. Turn it on and hear F. Slay. Soon it'll be contracts that don't allow players to have podcasts, messing up the brand. The guy's a cancer. Darius Slay's a fucking cancer. Tight Seal Shannon said he would never pick someone over Elway. That's right, because he helped him win 2 Super Bowls. Anthony, Darius Slay is a leader of convenience. He's a leader of convenience. Slay's not a good leader. Take that C off it. By the way, let me say this to you. You put a C on that guy's fucking chest and you took it off Devontae Smith. That's insulting. It's insulting. It's insulting. Devontae Smith, let me say this. Devontae Smith may not be the best wide receiver in pro football, but you know what he is? He's one of the best leaders on that Eagle team. Never bitches and complains and does his job. Gave you a hometown discount, wants to be an Eagle for the rest of his life. He wants, you know what Devontae Smith looked at? He's looking at the end result, where when he's 30 years old, the Eagles are going to want to give him a victory year where they celebrate him and let him call his shot. That's what that guy sees the end game. Most players don't see the end game. This week's been so easy because the majority of those players in the organization this week have acted like champions. Two guys who aren't homegrown and will be remembered as Eagle legends, Malcolm Jenkins, Saquon, both great people and true professionals. That's an absolutely true statement, Blaze. Let me tell you what I loved about Saquon last year. You know who the quietest guy in the offensive huddle was? It was Saquon. There was no pitching. There was no anything. He just did his job and led by example. Slay is such a not good teammate. He is a fraud. All that shit. Get this. Do you know what hides poor character? Winning. You know what exposes poor character? Uncomfortable situations and adversity. Banana Pudding was petty on Gardner, but his other take was money. Go cry about it. Hey, the thing with, look, I would pick those 4 guys too. But if I was his teammate, Brian, hey, Brian, if you were in a foxhole and you were in battle with somebody and you had 4 dudes in the hut, you had one of your guy next to you who was in that foxhole with you, and you won that battle and you won the war with, are you going to fucking name other people in another foxhole somewhere else going, I'd rather have those 4 guys? I sure ain't. That's his quarterback. At least I thought it was. Debating the quarterback situation 3 weeks after the dude wins Super Bowl's MVP. I mean, guys, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I do know timing. I'm like, what is that? Even if I didn't believe it, I would say he's my number 1 guy, then Allen, then Lamar. You want Slay back? Do you want Darius Slay back? Says, I see the guy every day. I'm not just qualified to say, just a thought. Hey, listen, Brian, you can have an opinion, and I think you're talking Hurts here, if I'm not mistaken, brother. I get what you, hey, man, listen. One thing you can't do, Pump, you can't dismiss the resume. Hey, he may not throw as good a pass as Joe. Here, let me show you something here, Pump. He may not throw a pass as good as Joe. He may not run the ball as good as Lamar and Allen. He may not fucking be the great reader of defenses, stay like Joe Burrow, or have the athleticism of Lamar. But you know what he does have? He's got a piece of each and every single one of those other guys that makes him a unique talent. Even I have to come to the conclusion of that. You can't just dismiss that. I mean, if you're going on pure athleticism, that's not enough in the NFL. That's not enough. The intangible of winning has to matter. It has to matter. Sills, more than half this chat doesn't think Hurts is elite. Okay. And I understand half the chat's thoughts. Because when you use the eyeball test, you see Burrow. Burrow's a superior quarterback. It's more than that playing in the NFL, though. I've seen better players than Brady. Brady's got longevity, took care of his body, and won. And he was a better game processor, and he was a better understand. You know what made Brady so freaking great? He dissected the way of playing football the best. That's what Hurts is starting to do. That has nothing to do with athleticism. He knows his limitations, and he knows his strengths. Same as Brady. What made Brady great, he dissected the game the best, played the percentages, understood that. It's an elite way of processing the game. It's a different conversation. They process the game differently. Dude, there's certain people like Elon Musk we mentioned yesterday and Steve Jobs and guys like that process technology differently than others. There's also certain quarterbacks that process the game differently. Brady versus Rodgers. Brady versus Manning. Brady was a better champion than Manning. Plain and simple. Get this. What would you rather have? The most gifted player to ever play the game? Or the greatest winner in the game? I don't know about you, but I'd rather be the greatest winner in the game. Maybe, just maybe, Slay sees it from a different perspective since he plays D. He's going against these. I'm not saying he's. Hey, listen, when you're looking at those four quarterbacks, he's absolutely, they're difficult to play against. You're missing my point, Sig. Even if that's true, would you leave off the guy that just helped you win a Super Bowl? And the guy you go to war with, and the guy you win with, and the guy you bleed with? Would you really leave your teammate out like that? I wouldn't. I wouldn't do that. So I get this. So I just won a Super Bowl. I'm going to say this. Man, that guy in Cincinnati is just a great player. Listen how this sounds. Man, that guy in Buffalo's, man, he's a super player. That guy in Baltimore is unreal. That guy in Cincinnati is insane. Patrick Mahomes, man, what a great quarterback. You just won a Super Bowl 3 weeks ago with Hurts. Are you really going to do that publicly on a podcast so that Dallas Cowboy fans can take a knee to you and bow to you? That's what he did that for, Cowboy fans to love him, because he knows there's a ton of them. It's pandering. He pandered to Cowboy fans? Why? What is the end goal of that? Oh, because he doesn't really give a shit being an Eagle. The only reason that him and his wife like Philly and like the fans and like everything is because you're winning. Let me tell you something. If you guys were losing and you had 4 or 5 win seasons, this guy'd be talking the worst shit. I want people of character when adversity hits, and I want to. That's how I gauge you. You see that piece of shit, Mike Missinelli, across the way? You know why he's acting like that with me? I didn't say anything bad about Mike. I may have said it to Zander privately, but I never said anything publicly. You know why? Because he's panicking over his career. He's watching it melt like a candle. And so he's lashing out at me because you know why? Krause has kept me and not him. You know why he's mad? The Krause has kept me and fired his ass. That's why he's mad. I'm such a racist. Why is he begging me to fucking go to court and sue Joe? For him. I got the text messages. I'm not involved in your life. That's nothing to do with me. Because I wouldn't do that, I'm a racist now. Oh, okay. Okay. Just chalk his ass up to the piece of shits in this business. It's another dude. Like Angelo said yesterday, he's a means to an end. It's just a dude in the business to me that I'm not shocked. I got to do one thing I got to ask you guys, and I really appreciate it. I have never had more people defend me yesterday against that turd than any time in my 30 years. My aunt even said that. And I want to thank you. It's humbling. Thank you very much. Not very many people in Tampa defended me when it wasn't true. Hey, I'm not saying I haven't said stupid shit on the air that got me in trouble, because I have. I've owned it. But I want to thank you. I had people posting going, I've listened to Sileo for 3 years. What the hell are you talking about? It was really great. And I was reading it. Believe me, I read it. And I'm like, holy shit, that's great. Zander talks about the community and shit. I've never had a community back me. I want to thank you. I give you my best effort every day because you guys have my back. I just want you to know that. Okay? I mean it. Thank you. It's growing and they hate it. If you're a racist, you sure pulled a smoke screen over Jerome. You know, I got to tell you something. One thing you'll never hear me say, and, you know, and I get certain people saying it. Damn, how come Sileo has a lot of black people on his show and he knows has a lot of black friends? I've told you this, guys, before. I don't have black friends. I have friends. I've never looked at people like that. If my friends, more of my friends happen to be black, so be it. If they happen to be Italian, so be it. I make friends with people of great character because sometimes I don't have it. Okay? My friends all do. Shit, you know who's coming on in the next couple of days? Doug Williams. He's been a friend of mine for 50 years. And he's coming on to talk Commanders about what they're doing up there because I think that's a team you got to keep an eyeball on. Is that Commander team. And he works as an executive. And he's been a friend of mine forever. We may not always like your opinions, but we always have your back, Big Sills. That's all I ask for. Sil's an equal opportunity offender. That's my mantra. I need a t-shirt or a hat like that. Okay? That's okay. The kid that JAKIB gave a chance to, that Bill dude, he hasn't been beat up enough. He will. Let me tell you something about corporate radio. You know what corporate radio means? You're not there for long. I was in one place 16 years. Everyone's like, Silo's always fired. I was there 16 years. Hit the like button, guys. Appreciate you dudes. All right. Bottom of the hour. Jason Cole, we're gonna talk how we guys, let me ask you one thing because the Hall of Fame voters coming up at the bottom of the hour. You think right now Howie Roseman has a resume for the Hall of Fame? Sills, would you rather take Hendrickson for a second than Garrett for a treasure chest? You think the Bengals and cheap-ass Mike Brown, you think that guy's really going to not want first-round picks for that dude? I'm not giving the Bengals anything. I'm going to ask a guy who votes for Hall of Fame. Do I think Howie Roseman's a Hall of Fame general manager? Yeah, I do. He's changed the way you do the books. I'm trying to think of a better guy. Do you know how the Patriots dealt with the cap? They got rid of guys. Do you know how the Eagles handle the cap? They pay guys. What? They pay guys. No. Paying players? Philadelphia is the only organization, in my opinion, that's player friendly. Everywhere else, you're cattle. You're cattle. Okay? Thank you, brother. I really don't even know where that came from. And you want to know something too, Rich? You notice it's only the people in the media saying it? It's no viewers or listeners. It's only the people that work in my business. Gee, I wonder why. People I've spoken to for years, for 38 years, they're like you, Rich. They never say it. People in Tampa to this day, They'll go on my Twitter. You know what they'll say? Why aren't you here still? The business doesn't want it. You know why? Because I don't have any guardrails. I don't believe you could do a show like that. I think you have to be transparent. Radio doesn't allow you to be transparent anymore. It's good and bad. Once again, I love radio. I hate the people in it. How he cares about the person before the player. Blaze, I'm going to give you a Jimmy Johnson mentality. I don't believe that to be true with everyone. I think Howie rewards players who produce. You can't be in a league of liking people when production is the number one most important thing. Blaze, he's not giving Zach Bond that contract or Barkley an extension just because he's a good dude. Okay? Must be doing something right for them to be hating. I don't even know where it's coming from. Oh, I do. Because it's happened for 30 years. Okay? I know. The people in my business hate that I'm still on the air. They've done everything in the last 6 years to do everything. My aunt will tell, you know what my aunt said today, Zander and everyone? My aunt's so worried that stuff in Philly will end my job now. My wife, too. You must have done something. Every day, my family's on edge of what I might say. Cup of coffee on me, Dan. BS you get is incredible. Listen, I don't mind a guy like Jake Tapper killing me for the Barkley take, or Zander kicking my ass for having maybe the worst, and I'll have to admit, maybe one of the worst prediction years in my entire broadcasting career. That is all true. Just to make shit up, though. You know what Mike said? He posted, came back at me. Everyone in the world knows you as a racist. Really? Who do you know that I know? That's my friends. Sure, not my audience. Peter, thank you, brother. I gotta get Doge. Yeah, hey, Howie's had such a good week. He's turning me. He's turning me. Thank you, Roland. Now, this is probably more true than what William. It's probably true. Yes. What's Roseman's next move? We're going to hit on that. Jason Cole votes for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And I want to tell you guys what you did for him. Okay? You guys harassed him so much. And he did more homework on Eric Allen. And he got your boy in. Kudos. Jason said that. You're sick. Awesome, man. Thank you very much, Joe. Thank you, dude. I think Joey's talked shit on me too, and now he's a member. That's what we do here. That's what we do, man. This guy's turning me, man. Howie Roseman is absolutely turning me. Okay. Oh, not another one. What's holy cow, man. What's going on here now? Hey, thank you guys. Look at what John Morgan just posted, Zander. John Morgan, I will be suing Mike Missinelli. I stand with Sills. I can't tell you how many times I run into people like Mike Miss. If anything, he's projecting himself onto you. These people who say things like that usually are the people just sad, honestly. John Morgan just tweeted he's going after Mike Missinelli. I didn't really want to really do that. Okay? I was kind of kidding. But John Morgan now. Hey, Joe, Krause, and Zander, look at my Twitter. Call me Joe Bell. I'm not really a fan of that guy either, but he said Mike's an angry man. Oh, my God. Hey, I'm sorry, man. John Morgan, I stand with Big Sills. Look at John Gruden. He got a picture of John Gruden doing it with the Canes gear on. Zander, I got to get you some of that. Oh, my God. John Morgan's a legend. You don't know this guy, man. He's going to sue him. He's going to sue Beasley. Guys, hit the like button. This guy brought on John Morgan. Oh, my God. Sorry, guys. I stand with Big Sills. John Morgan stands with a racist? I don't think so. Before the end of the season, we'll have you wearing an Eagle t-shirt. Hey, wait, I had Jerome's jersey on. Oh, my God. See, folks, I've known John Morgan 30 years. He knows who I am. You know what he tweeted me? Zander, you're going to love this. You know what he tweeted me? Because advertisers were afraid. I decided to stand with Big Sills. Sponsor your show. That'll be in perpetuity now, forever. And Betty, John Morgan wants to sue Mike. He's going to send a letter to I really didn't want to do this. I was kind of just trying to scare him. Wait a second. What is this, man? I'm not giving you. Wait. I don't know if I don't know if I promised that. Sue, I don't know if I promised that. I got to go back in the records and find that if I promised some shit like that. Okay? I don't know, Sue, if I promised that. I'm not sure about that. Oh, look at wait a minute. Yes, you did. You've been waiting for the opportunity. I don't think I promised that. I'm not sure I did that. I'm going to have to go back and look at the archives. Those guys are talking about the fucking Flyers, and I got John Morgan wanting to suit her ass. This has been a great week for me. Massive views, and you. Man, Mike's going to get reamed. This is not going to be pleasant for those folks. You bet me you didn't. You don't make me get Larkin. Easy, Twiz. Easy. Sills has the connections. Yes, we do. I'm very proud of that. This racist has all the connections. Hey, Sue, I'm getting a little tired of your shit, all right? You know, you did promise me if Hurts wins the Super Bowl, you did promise. Okay? You did promise that you would put a jail. I don't remember that, but I will, Sue. What's Howie's next move? What do you think his next move is? You know what Zander's doing? Hey, you want me to give you an impression of Zander? Here's my impression of Zander right now. Refresh. Guy's got to be making a fucking move right now. Refresh. Captain's got to be refresh. This guy's just hitting refresh. refresh. He's not going to let a Friday and a media dump go by, is he? Refresh. Hey, this guy's got every Philadelphia sports fan hitting the refresh button. Got to be something in there. You know what? I like that, CJ. I think it is Orrin Burks, too. I think it is Burks. Jason Cole's going to join us at the bottom of the hour. We're going to talk about Howie Roseman Hall of Fame. Nuclear. Here's my take. I think the Jurgens thing's got to be put on hold a little bit. I told Zander this yesterday, okay? I don't want to hear the word chronic. Well, not all the time. But when it comes to back injuries, okay, I want to know if this is going to become chronic. 181 likes. Come on, guys. Let's hit those like buttons there, man. Thank you. The supers have been great today. Thank you. I love John Morgan. John Morgan has been a friend of mine for over 25 years, him and Ultima. Used to invite me all the time. I used to go over. By the way, you want to hear something crazy? Some of you may not like it. Some of you may. He used to have President Clinton over. He had President Obama over. I met him. They were in his living room. And I get invitations every year when the president comes. Now, it doesn't matter. He's a lawyer. He donates on both sides. But I get an invitation to see the president every year from John. I've taken him up on a couple. I met President Obama and I met President Clinton. Leader of the defense needs to be extended. Reed Blankenship? I think, dude, Orrin Burks gives me, okay? Orrin Burks gives me the vehicle to make sure Dean comes back healthy. Okay? He makes sure Dean comes back healthy, and he also gives me a great rotation piece. So that's what Orrin Burks does for me. Okay? That's what he does. William says, Myles Garrett doesn't fill out online forms because Myles Garrett doesn't submit. Yeah, dude. Stop talking to me about Trey Hendrickson. Okay? Oh, yes. Yeah. And so am I. I hope marijuana becomes a major part of the National Football League when it comes to dealing with depression and also with pain management. I don't know about you, with people taking oxycodones, Percocets, and Percodans. You know, it's funny. I used to call people drug addicts who did marijuana and did other recreational drugs. Little did I realize I was a drug addict myself when I was in pro sports, taking Vicodins, Percocets, Percodans. I'm sitting there looking out a window, seeing a guy with a peace sign, and I'm sitting there all high on drugs. Look at those drug addicts. And I got 70 pills in me. How you doing? I mean, right? Look at them drug addicts. Well, shit, how many Vicodins you take? 4? Well, dude, that's way more toxic on your liver than smoking a joint. Doing. Hey, you see my boy Zander with that hurricane hat on today? That nice color. He looked like John Gruden. My boy sent him a bunch of gear. That's freaking phenomenal. So my attorney now, Big Sills' attorney, is actually the attorney there, right there. Morgan & Morgan, John Morgan himself. You know the guy in the commercial? That's my boy. You're going to take that case personally. You're going to go after little Mikey. Shit, you better be careful, Mike. I'll make sure the Krauses get that 60 grand you robbed off them. I'm sorry. I told you I can't stop sometimes when I'm having fun. AJ just traded to New England. Hey, watch this. Really? No. Wait a minute. Oh, my God. The Eagles just traded A.J. Brown to the Patriots? No way, Eagle talk, baby. Let's do a topic. Okay. Yeah. To the Patriots for what? A first, 2 firsts, and a third. Yeah, man. It's great to have people like John Morgan behind you. I appreciate John a lot. You know, when you do this as long as I do, my boy Jason Cole will tell you. You know how many times Jason Cole goes, "Are you in trouble again?" Not this time. This time we got the goods on everybody. Got to say this to you, man. I admire Jason Cole so much for the work that he does. And, you know, I don't get a chance to say this enough to him. I was telling my aunt this today. He always finds time for me. And he's one of the really great people and always finding time. You know, this goes all the way back to the Rome days with him. And we've been friends probably since back when he was down in Miami. That's how long he started down there with Christine Brennan, who's a dear friend of mine. And I love her. Let me tell you something. You know that WNBA folks that are going after her and saying all that shit about Christine Brennan? A woman who has defended women's sports and has been an advocate for them. And those women in the WNBA taking a shit on her, you have no idea what you're talking about. She is the quintessential broadcaster. I mean, she goes back to Northwestern and they celebrate her. You've seen her on our program a ton of times. I love her, man. That Miami Herald down in there with Edwin Pope and those guys. Edwin Pope was one of my best media friends. Him and Tom McEwen. The 2 people that were in the state of Florida that I had the best relationship with was Tom McEwen at the Tampa Tribune and also the great Edwin Pope. Man, Edwin Pope, I'd go out to lunch with him. Me and Jimmy would go to lunch. God, it was so great. It was just a great time of broadcasting and also having those great writers. And I don't think you see the writers yet because you got social media today. Everybody thinks they're Edwin Pope's Jr., whatever. And all those guys that wrote back in the day were just such great writers. Paul Zimmerman, you know, Jason's work, you know what happens, man? You get diluted a little bit because you see all these other loser people that are writing shit, and you're like, that's not Jason Cole work. So I wanted to throw some flowers at him here and just thank him a lot. So let's bring him up here. Our good friend Jason Cole.